Good afternoon, everybody. Ryan here, Michigan Storm Chasers, breaking in for some coverage of severe weather up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Let's go ahead and break this down just a minute. I'm going to get this stream set up and operational for everybody. So let me know where you're watching from. We'll go ahead and get this underway in just a minute here. Make sure our mod tools are set up, which I believe they are. Perfect. All right. Severe thunderstorm warning number 1 of Sunday, July 27th. It's going to be for the UP, Alger and Marquette counties. A very potent storm is moving to the east very slowly along a lake breeze boundary here. You can see the boundary very distinct on radar, and that is aiding in the lift and some extra shear of this ongoing storm. The warning is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds, as well as half-dollar size hail. I believe my microphone is a little bit set too high. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down just a bit. So the good news with this warning is there's no tag for a tornado on this at the current moment. There we go. Yep, I'm working on it. Give me a second. I'm working on it. It should be almost there. I have preset stuff that got messed up for some reason today, so I'm just getting it back to normal. So typically I have it right about here. Let me know if this is okay for you guys. We should be operational here. This warning is going to be in effect for 22 minutes. Mostly in Alger County. It does include the very far extreme portion of eastern Marquette County, but the majority of this box is going to be in Alger. So with this warning, like I said, 60-mile-per-hour winds is a hazard, with half-dollar size hail also a hazard with this storm. Moving up in toward Chatham and Limestone areas. We'll do a track on this in just a moment. I'm working everything solo currently, so just bear with me here. This is going to be crossing M94, moving toward M67 here between Chatham and Limestone momentarily. Yep, we should be set now. We'll say the other radar software that I use, GR2, that is showing hail marker at 2 inches in diameter. That is a very, very potent looking storm here. And you can see it here, the 2-inch marker. If we go up in height with this, I bet you we're going to see a very nice hail core on this. Yeah, very, very, that's at 30,000 feet. Very distinct hail core with this. That's up to 35,000 feet. One of the tallest storms I've seen this year, with a hail core up to about 35,000 feet. Would not be shocked if this gets upgraded even further, perhaps to golf ball size hail if this continues. Also, a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rain going on with the storm. So if you're downstream of this, so Chatham is in trouble here if this doesn't weaken. Chatham, Limestone, Rumley, Sundell, Slapneck, Dixon, Vale, Coalwood areas. It's going to be along Highway 01, M94, M67 here in Alger County. What's up, Rebecca? We are live in the UP today. If you're downstate, no severe risk down here for you guys. Everything is clear on radar. This is just a strict UP risk today. One storm, and that's going to be the one that's warned in the state. So if you're not in Alger County, you are okay for right now. Downstream of this storm, Schoolcraft County, perhaps northern Delta County would be up next. But let's get there first. Let's just, take through our paces here. Watch the storm progress off to the east-southeast, and we'll just kind of roll with it as it comes. The fact it has a lake breeze boundary nearby suggests to me, at least, that this storm will probably be ongoing for a while. That breeze, a lake breeze, can enhance lift as well as shear, so it has support to stay ongoing here. This is a very, very healthy looking storm. What's up, fun times? New scan here puts the hill core just north of Roomley, Eben Junction, and Sundell. We're looking at that purple zone, the purple and pink zone as we call it, the core of the storm. This is slowly moving toward Eben Junction, Chatham, Slapneck, and Dixon areas. This should miss Autrain Township and Rock River to the south. You guys are going to have a lot of heavy rain, though, as this storm slowly moves off to the east-southeast. The text of the warning says moving southeast at 25 miles per hour, so a very slow storm. With that, and also the heavy rain, would not be shocked to get some localized flooding with this storm as well. Try to refresh this, see what happens. Interesting. So again, severe warning in effect. Only warning in the state as of right now. There is a chance later tonight for additional showers and storms, specifically for the western and central parts of the UP, some of which could be severe in nature. Latest model guidance doesn't really suggest it's going to happen, but models have been kind of way off in left field. So we're going to keep an eye on the west here across Minnesota and Wisconsin here for later on this evening. Right now, clear radar minus this one storm that is severe in Alger County. They are going to go ahead and continue this warning. Looks like they are going to continue it for 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. They did not upgrade that at all, so that's going to be hopefully good news there. Hail size on GR2 suggests 1.62-inch hail, which would be just above ping pong ball. Yeah, give me a second, guys. I'm going to try to redo something here with my warning ticker. I'm not sure why it's not working. There we go. Now it's working. Okay. We should be operational here. So Alger and Marquette counties, 60-mile-per-hour winds, half-dollar size hail. Let's go ahead and zoom back in here and take a peek at the hail core. Still hanging out just north of M94 here, heading toward Eben Junction and Chatham areas. It's going pretty good. I was just hanging out behind the scenes, taking care of some back-end stuff. I had the radar pulled up, watching it, and I saw the box pop in. I'm like, huh, that didn't take very long. Population within this warning polygon. Go ahead and do a track on this. Estimated track about 25 miles per hour. Population says 205. So good news is there's not too many people up here. The bad news is there is still people up here. And as always, we'll be live until this storm is either weakened or the warning has dropped entirely. But that hail core is still very healthy. I would not anticipate that being the case anytime soon. So we'll be live for the entirety of this, as long as it takes. This is in central, I guess I can't really say central because Alger's a big county. We're going to say western Alger County. And this line you see on radar, for those of you just tuning in who didn't catch the first part of the stream, this is called a lake breeze boundary. Basically, it's just a rush of winds that gets pushed off the lake, pushes inland, and that can create thunderstorms, provides lift, excess shear as well. Sometimes, if a storm can latch onto it, it can produce those weak, brief tornadoes and kind of like surprises. But right now, not seeing anything rotation-wise with this particular storm, but I do see a gusty wind potential with this down here heading toward Limestone and Tronic over Ladoga. That's likely outflow winds from this thunderstorm. In fact, you can see up here where the greens and reds intensified, that is an ongoing downburst. So the reds are going away from the radar, and the greens going toward the radar. Very, very classic downburst signature there. Really gusty here, probably moving into Chatham and Limestone areas, as well as back up here between Deerton and Sundell, likely between those areas. Also got really gusty, or is gusty as we speak. Yeah, latest scan really starting to increase that velocity here, but also turn the hail track around. This is going to be probably obnoxious. Yeah, it kind of is. It's delayed, but your hail tracker is like maxed out there. If I switch this over to this one, yeah, that's a very large hail core. That is a very, very large hail core. Julie, you should be good now. Try it again. Yeah, that was the old one. Try that again, Julie. Should be good to go now. Kind of a cell merger happened here as this lake breeze popped up another storm and kind of combined. It's kind of cool to watch. But we'll pause it here. This almost looks supercellular in nature. It's got like the classic look to it. All right, let's go ahead and dive back into this. Chatham, you are basically in the core of this, and we'll be in the core for a while. If there are large hailstones falling, it's probably going to do a lot of damage here, especially if they're close to $half size in nature. This is not going to be a good situation here. Any houses up here between Eben Junction, Chatham, up toward Deerton, Rock River, they're probably going to take a lot of damage here, as well as cars. So not a good situation in Alger County. Again, $half size hail is the warning text, but the hail core of the storm is very tall. One of the taller ones I've seen this year at 30 to 35,000 feet. Usually for like warning criteria on a decent day, you want to be about 20 to 25,000 feet. And anything higher than that, the higher it goes, the more time it has to build and grow larger. So when you see those taller hail cores and updrafts of these storms, it's very, very concerning. Let's go ahead and take a 3D slice of this and just kind of see how tall this storm is, just out of curiosity. We're looking at 52,000 feet. That is a very tall storm here in Alger County. This is the only storm currently in the state, and it happens to be severe. There are no other storms in the state of Michigan right now. Further downstate in the Lower Peninsula, you have no risk today for severe weather, but a pop-up storm is possible through the afternoon and evening hours, but nothing severe is expected with that. The UP today does have that risk for severe weather, and we did have this area in a level 3 risk, mainly for damaging winds, but also the hail risk and a tornado risk here as well. Additional storms are possible later on this evening as a line possibly will push through from west to east. So keep an eye on that. If that does come to fruition, it'll be a little bit later, probably 7 o'clock and after. We'll be back live if need be. The gustiest of winds here is now pushing into Limestone and Tronic areas. And that's going to be moving southeast here towards Highway 05, M67, and Trinary. This may outrun the warning box here. You can see the, whoops, don't want that. You can see the yellow polygon here. That's your warning polygon. And these winds are going to be rushing very far out ahead of the storm to the south, a little bit to the east as well. This is probably going to outrun that warning polygon soon. So perhaps a downstream warning incoming for northern parts of Delta County, which would be right here, this county. Let me go ahead and turn on the cities for you guys so you can see the cities as well. There you go. A little bit smaller, but I want to pop those on just in case you guys want to see them. There's Trinary. There's Chatham. The gustiest of winds are outflowing, pushing out from the storm. Also a downburst ongoing here in Chatham, as well as back here toward the Rumley area. So gusty winds as well as large hail with this storm. The latest hail core does not weaken at all. This is actually a very healthy storm. There's 27,000 feet. And there's 35,000 feet. This is a very, very tall, very healthy storm. There's 45,000 feet. So it kind of brushes off there between 35 and 40, but still a very, very tall storm here. This is likely producing hail that is upwards of $50, if not larger in some areas. Yep, if you're on a YouTube side of things, you can control the quality of the stream. I think YouTube defaults to 720p. We do stream in 1080, so if you want to up your quality, in the top right, you should see a settings gear, and then you can change that manually to 1080p at your discretion. So that's just, you can watch us in better quality that way. Latest scan looks like the big, we're gonna call it like circular area of hail has kind of branched off. It's gotten smaller at least. Bad news is Chatham's taking a pretty big hit right now. Slapneck and Dixon on deck with this. Vale and Colwood if that continues. This is heading toward, looks like Cleveland, Cliffs Basin. That general area is going to be taking a head-on hit from this hail core in a few minutes. Zooming out here, taking back the other radar I have. This boundary that is sagging from Alger County back up through Marquette County, we may see additional storms fire up close to that boundary. Would not be shocked to see more storms start going up here through the afternoon. As of right now, though, just the one storm. Yeah, it's not too often we get a big hail maker up in the UP. It happens actually more so I've noticed in the early spring and late summer time frames. I don't think there's a correlation with that, but I've noticed the UP seems to get 1 or 2 days a year that just produce a lot of hail making storms. So last year around the July 4th time frame, there was a couple storms that produced like $50 size hail through the central and eastern part of the UP. It just kind of seems like you get those one or two of those days throughout the year up there. So luckily, we only have one storm to talk about. It's not numerous storms, at least not at this time. Let's hope it stays that way. We do not have any cameras up there. We do have potentially 3 locations pending in the UP. I'm not going to say where just yet for, I don't want to respect the sponsors and also want to make it a surprise for you guys. But we're working with at least 3 locations on potential installs here. So stay tuned for that. If you guys are watching from the UP, or you own a business, or just want to sponsor a camera in general, feel free to reach out to us. You can email me directly. Ryan at michiganstormchasers.com is my email. You can also message us if it's easier directly on Facebook. We are looking for more camera locations, especially in the UP, as well as northern lower Michigan. So if you guys happen to know people who run a business, or you yourself own a business up in the UP, I'll put a camera up for us. We'll be good to go. New warning incoming now, downstream. This is going to be for the... I guess they're extending this one further to the south and to the... Okay, I see. So the old warning expires here in about 3 minutes. So they went ahead and reissued this. They're going to continue it for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Pretty much the exact same areas. They just extended it down here to the Schoolcraft and to the Delta County line. Forgot that county name. I keep forgetting it's Delta. Schoolcraft and Delta County line. Now the warning has been extended to those county lines. And this is going to be in effect for 30 minutes, 33 minutes. Puts us right about 3:45. So the good news with this is, like I said like 3 minutes ago, looks like the hail core is kind of shrinking just a bit. It's still a very healthy storm, so it's probably going to cycle back through, I have to assume. But as of right now, the hail size, I would say, is probably dropping from $0.50. So let's hope that continues to be the case. Where are you at, Mind Will Matter? Where are you at? Just out of curiosity. Even Junction. Okay, cool. Thank you. So, viewer reporting hail about nickel size in Eben Junction, which is right here, just to the west of Chatham. And looks like the hail core would have been either basically just over you or just to your north for the majority of it. But looks like it took a direct hit there. So the fact you're only getting nickels, that's a good sign. That's good news here. So hopefully this storm, it's very, very tall. And the hail core on us was very mean looking. So that's good news. Let's hope that continues. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Your reports are beneficial for us. We can kind of relay that to you guys. So we can tell you with this to certainty now, this storm is producing at least nickel size hail. Dixon, Slapneck, Vale, Colwood, and then I'm assuming this is Highway 05, H05. The official name of this is going to be Rapid River Truck Trail. This is going to be moving over Cleveland Cliffs Bay as well. That is actually not an outflow boundary. That's a lake breeze boundary. If we were to back this up from 7 frames, go ahead and do 75 frames and let this load in here. You're going to notice that this is actually a lake breeze boundary that originated and kind of started pushing inland here. This is a very typical of a lake. If you go down here to the eastern side of the state, there's actually a lake breeze boundary right here. We're watching that one very closely. If we switch on the TTW radar, there's also a lake breeze boundary here. These are very common in summer times setups like this, where these can push inland. They will push inland, and they can sometimes produce enough lift to support storms. There's another boundary in West Michigan. So they happen on most all of our lakes during the summertime setups. I don't see any up here in northern Michigan, but you can definitely see some there in southeast and in West Michigan. So very typical, not outflow, but it is a lake breeze boundary. So they're pretty similar in nature. Let's take a look at our latest velocity scan, and we can definitely see a pocket of gustier winds just north of Trinary. This is going to be moving to the south and a bit east here. There you go. A little pocket of brighter reds there indicating some heavier winds are occurring. Moving more south than it is eastward. So Trinary is going to get missed. Perhaps not missed, but it should miss Trinary for the most part to the east. There's no other towns that I see between Trinary and the Rapid River Truck Trail. This is going to be moving into the what county? Delta, Northern Delta County in a few minutes here. I keep forgetting that name. It's Delta. I don't know why it doesn't stick with me. And yes, I will say as well, we just talked about those boundaries. Those may pop some storms up today. We do have a thunderstorm risk out there for the Lake Breeze boundary areas. If you caught our forecast yesterday, it still applies for today. While there isn't an abundance of ingredients for thunderstorms downstate, at least further in like central and southeast Michigan especially, would not be shocked to see one or two storms pop up along the Lake Breeze boundary anywhere in Michigan if there is a boundary. Also want to take note, there's a few areas and pockets of showers that are popping up across northern Indiana, very close to the Michigan border here near Elkhart and LaPorte. Pop this back to 7 frames. They're almost stationary. They're not really moving into Michigan, so perhaps some pop-ups down here by the Indiana border as well. For the most part, our focus is going to be on this storm up in the UP just because it is severe and it's likely producing hail of quarter size, if not a tad bit larger than quarter size in nature. Carl says, good afternoon, everyone. It's not bad here in Calumet Township, but it's getting there. Are you talking about the heat and humidity up there, or are you talking like storms? Because if I remember correctly, Calumet is up here somewhere. Unless I'm thinking of the wrong. I know the Calumet Air Force Station is up here somewhere. Is Calumet somewhere else that I'm not seeing? But yeah, more storms are possible later on this evening. I will switch this over actually to our future forecast model, just so you guys can see what's going on the latest guidance. Last I checked, there wasn't really much being shown for later on this evening. Yeah, there we go. This is at 1 a.m. tonight. It shows a secondary line developing here in the western UP, kind of pushing in there, and it kind of weakens as it pushes eastward. But this is one solution, so we could have another round later on this evening. I'm saying after 7 p.m., but latest model says after midnight. So we'll see what's actually going to happen here. Models have been way off in left field lately, so I don't put much trust in those as of right now, at least. Gustier winds continue. Looks like they're weakening out just a bit as it heads toward the Delta County line. Dragon says, here in St. Ignace, it's like a muggy, but the temp gone up. Could use some more wind. Yes, it's crazy. We were windy all spring, and then we get to the hot season. It's like, hey, take away your wind. We could have used that wind during all this heat and humidity. Genuinely, we could have. It is air soup out there, says Julie. Yes, I agree. Air soup is a good way to put it. We do have potential for storms tonight in the UP especially, tomorrow as well across much of the state, and then perhaps on Tuesday as well as a cold front moves through. After Tuesday, especially after Wednesday morning, you guys are going to love the weather that's incoming because we are saying bye to the humidity, and with that, a drop in temperatures as well. So stay tuned for the late half of next week. It's looking very, very pleasant in nature. This storm is tracking east-southeast. It's currently in Alger County. It's going to be tracking toward the western part of Schoolcraft and the northeastern part of Delta counties. Moving to the east-southeast at roughly 20, well, now it says 35. They upped it to 35 miles per hour. Hazard with it is 60 mile per hour winds, 60 mile per hour winds, and quarter-size hail, which is up to 1 inch in diameter. Hail core looks to be still quite healthy in nature. Let's go ahead and take a peek at this on the 3D scan here. Let's go up in nature. Let's go to 23,000 feet, still very healthy there. There's 40,000 feet. This continues to blossom and grow. And there is 33,000 feet. And that's at least 60 dBz. That's still a very healthy hail core here with this cell. So out ahead of this storm, places are going to be Kentucky. And that's the only town that I really see here in the south and east part of Alger County. I keep saying southeast, but Alger is weird like this. So technically southeast would be kind of over here. This is more so southwest-ish Alger County, I guess. Also take note, we have a pop-up storm that's going to merge again with this storm here. We'll have to watch that closely. Otherwise, there's no other storm in the state. Taking a peek downstate again for those just tuning in. The radar's clear across the lower peninsula. Also, we just got an upgrade to this storm. Not a surprise at all. So nothing on radar further downstate. A pop-up storm is possible, especially if you're close to a lake. This storm has just been upgraded to ping pong ball size hail. Ping pong ball size hail. That is 1.5 inch in diameter. We are getting close to considerable. Considerable is golf ball or larger. That's going to be 1.75 inch. So we're very close to that golf ball considerable tag criteria here. So regardless, take it seriously. It doesn't matter if it's ping pong or golf ball, honestly. It's going to do damage. It's going to put dents in your car. It could possibly damage your siding as well. If there's any wind with this, wind-driven hail is a big threat. So otherwise, this has been trimmed. So Chatham is now out of the warning, as well as the Even Junction, Roomley, Sundell, Ladoga, and Rock River areas. This is going to be now trimmed. Ping pong ball size hail, 60 mile per hour winds, and the storm ongoing and moving toward the 3 counties lines of Schoolcraft, Delta, and Alger. The only town I see down there is Kentucky, which is up here. Down here, I did see Lake Stella. Yeah, Lake Stella, FFH 13. Straits Lake, that's populated. I see a lot of population centers around here. So that's heading your way. So if you're down in the area of any one of these lakes, like Straits Lake, Swan Lake, Blue Joe Lake, Red Lake, there's a lot of lakes here. I can't sit name all of them. If you're down this area, northern part of Delta, western part of Schoolcraft, southwest part of Alger, inside, away from windows, go to your basement if possible. If you live further east and south, like Hiawatha area, you have some time. It may be a good idea to move your car into a garage if you have one, or protect it against the side of your house, something that will protect it from hail. I'm not saying the storm's going to hit you, but if the storm continues and doesn't weaken, it will be on a track towards perhaps Hiawatha, but it looks like it's trying to die a little bit further south now, up here into the northern part of Delta County. So we're going to keep an eye on that and track that as it does so. Go ahead and just leave it there. We'll go ahead and animate this very potent hail core. I wouldn't be shocked if they tag this for considerable, for golf ball size hail. The hail core on this is very, very potent in nature. Looks like the hail core is actually falling now. It was at 35,000 feet, and now it's down to 25. So I think all that hail is falling out, and it's about to hit the surface here, which is probably why they upgraded the warning, truthfully. I would not be shocked if they upgrade this another one to considerable, although, I don't know. We'll see. Ping pong ball size hail is still nothing to sneeze at. That's still a... Aaron says huge hail core. Are you up there, or are you just saying what's on radar there? Yeah, the radar presentation of the storm is quite impressive. Yeah, Aaron, it really is, though. So you're not wrong at that at all. If you guys live up this direction and you have reports or pictures, videos of hail, feel free to drop it in our comments, not here in the live stream. Drop it in another post, or message us directly, or utilize our group called Michigan Weather Reports. That is what we send everybody to for damage, storm pictures, stuff like that. The Weather Reports group is there at your discretion for use. I'm going to pop it up here. There's not much population up in this way, so I don't expect much to be popped in here. I'll go ahead and check it just to be sure. I see 2 pending posts. Let's go ahead and check those out real quick. Nothing. So yeah, Michigan Weather Reports is a group that we operate. It is not a page. It's a group on Facebook. It's got 84,000 members. And that group is for you guys to use for storm pictures, reports, damage, hail pictures, etc. Anything that's severe weather related, or perhaps I'm not going to say severe snow, but like important snow updates, stuff like that. Drop it in the Weather Reports group. Warning continues. 30, it was, yeah, it still is. 3:45 expiration time on this warning. Ping pong ball size hail is, I think, quite clearly the main hazard with this. But if we pause it, take a look at velocity, you're going to see there is quite a bit of downed burst signatures in here. The green's going toward the radar, the red's going away from the radar. It's not rotation, they're going away from each other. But that is indicative that we do have, indeed, a lot of heavy rain and a lot of hail falling, hitting the ground, forcing wind outward. That is your downburst. This is probably really gusty in nature too, but I do think the hail risk with this storm does outweigh the wind risk at the current time. There's your hail tracker, and that's just insane. Very large area here, and there's the latest update just popped in too. That is that's pretty healthy. This is going to be directly over Cook Lake, as well as Rapid River Truck Trail. Moving to the east-southeast here, about to enter the northern part of Delta County. GR2 hail size on this is now 2.61 inches. Again, that is just like an AI guess based on the radar presentation. I can tell you, based on the radar, what I'm seeing, I would not be shocked if they are larger than ping pong ball. I don't think it's going to be upwards of 2.61 or whatever I just said. I think it was, 2.61. That's close to baseball size. I don't think that's happening here. But I do think the potential is definitely there for golf balls, maybe perhaps lime-size hail with this storm. The warning is for ping pong. Doesn't matter if it's ping pong or golf balls, it's still going to do damage. So that's the main takeaway from this. Yeah, there's no rotation with this storm. At least not at this current time, there's not. I may have spoke too soon as well. Because looking at this storm, it's going to collide with this one. It's also on a boundary. And I look at the latest velocity scan, and it actually does look a little interesting here, but it also could be cluttered. So we're going to wait next scan here, but kind of curious here. What's going on with this? Kind of lines up as well. So keep an eye on that. It is a supercell. It's taken on a very classic supercell look. You can see like this flying eagle look here, where the rain kind of spreads to the east. Got the hail core in the center, and you got the little hook on the back end here. Very classic supercell. And this is we cannot rule out a tornado with today's storms because there's enough wind shear up there. We could see these rotate. So I'm not going to rule out seeing a tornado with this storm. Currently doesn't look imminent, but this has progressed into what looks like a very healthy supercell. Looks like Marquette is updating their warning. They're continuing it for, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and now it is observed hail. It is observed ping pong ball size hail. So they have observed, confirmed this is actually producing ping pong ball size hail. I don't have any details on where that's at. I didn't see anything in the text of the warning that contained a location or a source. It just says observed. So winds up to 60 miles per hour, and hail up to ping pong ball is going to be your hazard with this storm. And this is something I know, this is probably one of the first times I've ever seen GR2 do this. But if you guys see this triangle here, it now has a hail indicator of 3.38 inch hail. 3.3 inch 8 hail. That is something I personally have never seen on GR2. I'm not saying that's legit. Again, it's an AI guess basically, but this core of this storm is very, very intense and very, very healthy. There's 20,000 feet, and it's 70 dBz at 20,000 feet. Let's go up a little bit higher there. There's 38,000 feet. That scared me. Our sound has not been working. Now it's working for some reason today. New warning incoming, though. This is a very healthy storm. They're going to go ahead and warn this now downstream. Let's go ahead and flip over here to the other radar. Wait for that new polygon. There we go. Very big warning here. Ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is going to be for western Schoolcraft, northeastern Delta, as well as that south and a little bit west part of Alger County. This is a very intense storm. Hiawatha is in the path of this. Steuben, Richardson Mills, Copenhagen Beach, Sunset Beach, Minor Beach, Elkhorn, Springer, Cooks, 437, 449, 442, all in path of this. Luckily, it's pretty rural up here. There's not too many people up in this vicinity, but this is a very potent storm, and it's going to be impactful for the people it does impact. Let's check out the latest hail tracker on this. Hasn't updated yet. Let's check it out over here. Yeah, not every day you see GR2's hail tracker maxed out like that. And the marker on the radar here now says 3.56 inch hail. Also keep a close eye on this for some rotation. I think this is more so clutter from that lake breeze boundary that's in the vicinity of this. There's also, if I check CC, is there a hail spike? TBSS? Kind of, not really. Yeah, this is crazy. This is a storm this is probably one of the strongest hail producing storms that I've seen this year. And it happens to be by itself up there in the UP. Again, this is for Alger County, Schoolcraft, and Delta counties. Ping pong ball size hail has been confirmed with this storm. Would not be shocked if there's larger stones in here. This is probably one of the strongest I've seen in my time of doing MSC. One of the bigger storms I've seen hail-wise and updraft-wise. This is a very tall, very potent storm. The height of the storm is now at 50, looks like 55,000 feet. So it's maintaining itself very nicely. Continues to move slowly off to the east-southeast. There might be, I think this is more so clutter from that boundary, but I do believe there could be a little bit of rotation developing with this storm too. Definitely not enough to warrant concern for anything tornadic at this point, but with a lot of shear up there with the boundary in place, I would not be shocked to see a little bit of rotation with this storm, perhaps even a brief tornado if this continues its trek here. Is there any MDOT cams up here I can take a peek at? Is there any visual on this at all? I want to see if I can figure out if this is elevated or if it's surface based. There's nothing up here. We're going to have to put a lot of cameras up in the UP between now and next year. Yeah, this is a very healthy storm. Yes, this is a UP. Alger, Schoolcraft, and Delta counties are the main 3 counties in the warning. Again, this is going to be Alger County. This is going to be a very big county. It goes from over here where my mouse is at, all the way over to here. Big county. So technically speaking, this is in the southwest part of Alger, and that hail core just continues to get larger and larger. The hail size on GR2 is now 3.68. Oh, goodness. So southwest part of Alger County, the northeast part of Delta County right here, and the western half of Schoolcraft County. Technically, I guess the southwest part of Schoolcraft County. I'm going to make a guess here. They're going to probably upgrade this to considerable. This hail core is insane. Got some reports coming in. Public report 2 miles north of Sundell of quarter-size hail. That was as of 2:50 p.m. So when the storm first got warned, it sounds like. It's about almost an hour ago. That's the only report that I see dropped here from NWS Marquette. Yeah, this is still a very healthy looking storm through the updraft here. There's 33,000 feet. And it tapers off about 40,000. This is still in the southwest part of Alger County. Moving, basically it's going to cross Alger over into Schoolcraft and Delta simultaneously. There's your report of 1-inch hail. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Yeah, you guys can over there. There's your report of hail, quarter size. Just dropped in there. I'm keeping a close eye here as well with the hail core. This is just one of the biggest storms I've seen this year. I think probably for last year too in the UP. Probably a big hail chucker. Like you see the storm, it's like you have no doubt it's producing hail. That's pretty big. Again, warning continued is for ping pong ball size hail and 60 mile per hour winds. Ping pong and 60. It's kind of a weird situation here. There's one storm to talk about. It's moving very slowly, and the radar beams are coming in about 2 minutes. So, like, there's 2-minute gaps here. I can't really say anything new. I can tell you this is heading in, again, toward the northeast part of Delta and the basically southwest part of Schoolcraft County. It's going to cross very close to Hiawatha, Steuben, Highway 440, Federal Forest Highway 13, 42.5 road. So this is going to be a very, very potent storm here. But there's just not much else I can say about that. You know, it's moving very slowly and it's taking a while to meander off to the southeast. So all I can say, if you're in the polygon here, the yellow polygon on your screen, you guys need to be inside away from windows and taking shelter. The good news, though, if you're down here in Hiawatha, even Manistee area, Thompson, further south here toward Indian Lake, this is a big population center in the UP standard at least. You guys have probably close to a half hour or so estimated before the storm arrives there. So if you have time, you have a garage, you have a shelter for your car, I would be moving your car into that shelter because this storm continues its intensity and trek toward you. It's going to do damage. So now is the time to prepare. Now is the time to prepare if you live out ahead of the storm. If you go from Hiawatha down here toward Indian Lake, anywhere around that area, you have a bit of time before the storm gets to you. Warning is continued for ping pong and 60. Ping pong ball size hail and 60 mile per hour winds. And it's about to cross over into Delta and Schoolcraft counties. Let's do a track on this. I don't want to bore you with silence. Let's go ahead and do a track on this. This is going to be a track on the hail core. We're going to track it right toward Manistee, assuming it's going to go right that direction. 35 miles per hour. Elkhorn, 33 minutes. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Mishawaka Shores in 37 minutes. Winamaki. Winamaki. I think I got that, actually. I probably butchered it, truthfully. 35 minutes. Evergreen Shores, about 35 minutes. Harrison Beach in 35 or so minutes. Copenhagen Beach in 35 or so minutes. Sunset Beach, Minor Beach, Thompson, Manistee in 42 minutes or so. Total population in that blue narrow polygon I just drew is roughly 3,300 people in the path. There's more toward Hiawatha and outside that blue zone. Does the warning text actually have the population of this? It does, actually. Hold on. Population says, that's the old warning. Hold on. Did I not update this? Shoot. Forgot to post the graphic there on Facebook, but the graphic that is generated from NWS has the population. It says 2,067 people are in the path of this. 2,067 people, so a bit lower than what Radar Omega is suggesting. And that graphic should be on the page now. All right, comments here. Anything for the Sioux? As of right now, no. This is the only storm in the state currently. It just so happens to be severe. There is a chance for storms later on tonight for you. I would expect it to be not severe, though. Looks like the most of the severe storms, if we're going to get any tonight, will be on the west side of the UP. Where are you from, Permis? Shelter all animals, people, personal belongings as needed. Yes, Jordan, good advice there. This storm is packing a punch as it pushes southeast. No chasers in the UP that I know of. I'll double check, but we only have one, maybe two people in the UP. No one out there today. We could use more cameras in the UP. So I'll plug it again. If you guys own a business up in the UP area or northern lower, we'd be interested in getting in touch with you on sponsoring a camera for our coverage. It would come in handy, especially on days like today. We don't have anything up here. No MDOT cameras, no chasers, very little population. So we do have chasers in the UP, yes, but they're not close to this storm. They reside away from this area. Appreciate you, Lello, with a super chat. Says, sincerely appreciate your coverage of this in all Michigan areas. Pronunciation is the least of your worries. Doing great. Thank you, Lello, for that. I'm not going to get these cities 100% correct, but I will do my best. If I do mess it up, I will always refer back to the pronunciation guide from michigan.gov. and that's been my go-to. So, but I appreciate you, Lello, and thank you for your support and your generosity. Marquette continues the warning for good news. Hail is now down to $half size, if that's good news. I guess from ping pong to $half. It's still large hail. Still damage is likely with the storm. But again, going through its cycling here, the hail core is shrinking for now. Let's hope that continues. I also will say the way this is kind of looking here, it's kind of pushing and bowing outward. It may be going a little bit more outflow dominant maybe, and perhaps producing gustier winds on the leading edge of this. I don't see, I gotta turn this off. There we go. I don't see any areas and pockets that are pushing out from the storm, but I will say the core of this is still likely producing very gusty winds on the backside of this, still in Alger County. And I'm going to be right back. I'm going to turn my AC on because it is getting hot, hot in here. So I'll be right back here in like 2 seconds. Yeah, I was not anticipating having to go live today until later on this evening. So I was ready for it. I just didn't think I was going to go live this quick. So usually when I do go live, I have the AC blasting because it gets hot with my computers and stuff running. And I have the AC vent like right below me too, so it helps. But I had it turned off, anticipating that I had to go live later on this evening. But surprise, here we are. Current time is 3:47, about to be 3:48 here, Eastern time on this Sunday afternoon. I'm Ryan, this is Michigan Storm Chasers. We are live in the UP for severe coverage. Alger, Schoolcraft, and Delta counties. Storm has produced large hail, history of producing large hail, and likely will continue to produce large hail, as well as potential for gusty, severe winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and take a peek at our latest couple of scans here. This is what it looks like off our advanced radar GR2. If we go up in the atmosphere, let's go here at 35,000 feet. You can see this looks like it's weakening just a bit. This is what it was, and this is what it is. So it looks like the core of the storm is falling out again, which is likely aiding in the lower hail size. If we take a 3D slice of this, I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up or not. It won't. The core of the storm is now falling. What was that, 55 or so thousand feet? It is now down to 47,000 feet. So I said length. What am I looking for here? The height. Brain fart. The height of the storm is now lowering as well. So likely this storm is on the weakening trend, at least short term. We'll see if that continues or not. Have to bear with me. I'm working solo today. Caleb is on vacation. Joel has the weekend off. He'll be back with us tonight for coverage. So you just got me today. And with just me, it's almost time for my afternoon dinner. So I had to switch you guys to mobile, honestly. I have my headset. I have nobody to cover me, so I have to do things solo today, which is okay. Improvise. Luckily, it's not a big day where we're tracking numerous storms. Just one in the UP. It just so happens to be very, very potent in nature. The hail size on GR2 is now down to $half size, 1.25. And yeah, very, very classic downburst nature there. The reds and greens are going away from each other. Yeah, after Tuesday, likely probably going to be the first half of Wednesday will be humid. But after that Wednesday, like evening time frame, you guys are going to notice a difference in humidity. It'll be a lot better for you guys. Just got to get through the first couple of days of the week, Monday, Tuesday. We'll be good to go. All right, I will actually. We have a little bit of break here. The warning was just downgraded to $half. It's still a very potent storm, so don't take my tone wrong. It's still a very potent storm. It's just not at the level it once was. Down to quarter, probably $half to quarter size hail now. Looks like the core is weakening. I am going to switch you guys over to my headset. It's probably going to sound a bit weird for a second. Okay, I switched. Can you guys still hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up here, and if I can, I'm going to run and grab my food here and get that ready to devour. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pop myself off the screen. I'm going to animate the radar, and I'm going to stick with you guys here. I'm going to get some food. Also, report coming in. Looks like quarter size hail is going to be Alger County near Chatham. Says 2 miles east of Chatham. Public reports hail of quarter size. Looks like the Marquette has now downgraded this warning further to now quarter size hail. So it went from ping pong down to $half and now down to quarter size hail, which is really good news here. Food is in the microwave now. I sound better like this. This is my headset. This is my headset. So you guys are hearing me on a my other microphone's actually 100 and some bucks, and then my headset's like 30. So if you're telling me my sound quality is better on my headset, I'll just use this from now on. I did have dinner planned tonight. I was gonna cook myself green bean casserole, but given that I can't do that now, we'll go ahead and opt for a frozen, probably sausage and hash brown, just to hold me over until later on. I like the other mic better. You talking the one I had before or the one I'm using now? Yeah, no problem, Kendall. This is going to be in the UP, Alger County, Schoolcraft County, and Delta County. Warning is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter size hail. Once I'm back with my food here, I'll switch back over to the other microphone. I got you guys. Yeah, this one I believe sounds a little more raspier and a little bit more quieter in nature. The cheap one sounds better. That's crazy. My food is done. Luckily, my computer is about 15 feet from my fridge and my microwave, so it's a very easy walk and walk back. And you can't eat potatoes without ranch, so gotta put the ranch on there. Food's done. Yep. You guys heard the beep. That's crazy. This microphone I'm wearing and using right now should technically be like noise canceling. So you guys theoretically shouldn't hear that, but I guess you guys did. So, all right, just tuning in. I had to run and get food. I'm working solo on the stream today here, so you had to bear with me as I got some food. I got that now. I'll keep my camera off while I devour this food here momentarily once it cools off. But if you're just joining us, we have a couple areas of severe in the UP. We have Alger County, Schoolcraft County, and Delta counties, quarter size hail, and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Quarter-size hail has been downgraded. It was at $half to start. It went to ping pong. Ping pong was continued, was reduced to $half, and now it's back down to quarters. So we're on the right track here. Hopefully, as you can kind of see on radar, the storm looks a bit weaker in nature too. So that's a really good sign here as it progresses to the east-southeast. Indian Lake, though, Hiawatha and Manistee, as well as Thompson areas, still needs to be on alert here. The storm could re-intensify, and if it does so, it'll be moving up your direction. I think at this point, wind would be the primary concern unless the hail core shifts or re-intensifies. So yes, severe warning in effect here until, looks like expires in 34 minutes, puts us right at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. If the storm does continue to weaken, would not be shocked if they were to cancel that early, but as of right now, it does appear to still be severe. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And you can definitely tell this has become a lot more disorganized over the past couple of scans. Pizza Hut, you guys are giving me FOMO. I want pizza now. Making homemade pizza, Miranda? Come on. Making me jealous over here. Ranch is good on everything. Let's be honest. Kendall's having tamales for dinner. What are you guys having for dinner? We have a minute here. Storm is on the weakening trend, which is good. Let's switch you guys back over here to my broadcast mic. There we go. You guys should have hear the difference. At least you guys, I think you would anticipate you would. Spaghetti and rolls. Having hot dogs. Okay. Got a nice variety here. Sounds like a good Sunday afternoon. Don't know yet. Mic is much better. Okay, cool. So I got mixed signals on that one. I had people tell me my other mic was better, and I have the broadcast mic was kind of iffy. Venison tacos. That sounds good. I like venison. Baked chicken. Whoops. There we go. I'm back. Another report coming in. Up in Alger County. P to quarter size hail estimated. 7 miles north of Round Lake via NWS Marquette. So again, have not gotten any reports via the local storm report that the NWS drops here. Usually they drop those. We did have a warning earlier that did say the ping pong ball size hail was observed. Did not give a source on that though. I have yet to see a report or a confirmation on that, but they did confirm it via warning, so I have to assume it's legit. And I will say this storm, this is actually dying pretty fast, but with the dying phase, it looks like the outflow winds are sparking another storm back here to the west that's now popping up back toward Limestone area. So this one storm is exiting, it looks like. Another storm's going to pop up here. Would not be shocked, though. Same environment, it's going to probably go strong to severe here. But the good news is, at least for right now, this storm likely took a lot of the instability, at least localized instability, out of the atmosphere. So this may struggle for a bit. I'll have to keep an eye on that. It may not, though, because there's a lot of dynamics here at play, like the outflow from this storm, and also the lake breeze boundary that is nearby may provide enough spark for that storm to maintain itself. So, can hear computer sounds on this mic. Headset was softer, not as bright. No white noise in the background. Okay, cool. I was thinking just getting a headset and just get like a high quality headset, like a broadcast style. All I'm using is like a cheap $35 Acer headset. That's all I'm using. Does the job though. So there is potential for a pop-up storm downstate, but it's going to primarily be on one of these lake breeze boundaries. If you look closely here, there's a nice kind of like an arc, so to speak. That's a lake breeze boundary, and that pushes in off Lake Michigan. If we go over here off to the east here, we're going to see one here on Lake St. Clair. It's very hard to make out, but you can see it here. Also one down here in Monroe County. Those boundaries may spark a isolated shower or storm today, but it is not supposed to be severe if it does spark. Also got some showers and storms, at least we did earlier. Kind of still has some residual stuff around Goshen. A couple areas and pockets of showers down here by the Indiana border. But right now, the LP is clear. It should remain clear for 99% of us. And if any storms do pop up, they shouldn't be severe. Now, UP, we have two storms that have popped up here in Delta and Alger counties, as well as Schoolcraft County. Later tonight, we could have a secondary line develop off here to the west and push eastward into the western UP later on tonight. Likely, probably after, models say after midnight, so we'll say right around that time frame, after 9 p.m. to be safe. But that could be severe in nature. But right now, models have not gotten us anywhere close the last couple of days. I have zero reason to trust that the model right now is showing what's going to happen tonight. So we're going to take it by ear. The UP has best chance tonight for a storm, perhaps a line of storms. We just don't know what's going to happen yet. The environment in place, though, is supportive of severe weather. So any storms that do pop up will have potential to become strong to severe. Yep, I opted for the sausage and hash brown. It's my go-to. I admit I eat it a lot, so. This storm is still very slowly progressing off to the east-southeast. The good news is the hail core on this has really basically vanished almost. Let's take a peek here on the advanced radar. Good old GR2. Yeah, we're down on this storm. We were at 55,000 feet. We're down to 35,000 feet now. This storm is collapsing on itself. And there is your previous hail reports of all of 1 inch in diameter hail. The 3 little squares you see on your screen. That's going to be the reports out of the storm. And as far as the hail tracker on this goes, it lost its hail core completely. There's your VIL, the vertically integrated liquid, aka hail tracker. It's gone. Like, there's nothing on the storm now that's producing hail. I would not be shocked if they drop this warning, truthfully. This storm has just went, it's gone. Kind of backing this up here, you can see how it did look back here when it first went warned. This was a very, very potent looking cell. As that continued, it kind of lost its mojo. But as it lost its mojo, a new cell developing back here to the west of this one, back near Trinary. So let's keep an eye on that as well. This is not a short live. We've been live for about an hour, 15 minutes. We've had live streams of I think 10 minutes. We had a storm last year, I recall, that got tornado warned up in Port Austin, I believe, in the tip of the thumb of Michigan. And that was like a 15-minute stream, I think it was. We've done a lot shorter than this. And I'm probably not going to end it until either the storms weaken or vanish altogether. If this warning gets dropped now, I don't want to end it because this storm is just blossoming to the left of this storm. And that could very well go severe pretty quickly. So I'm not going to end it immediately. What I will do, though, while we have a brief break in a second, in the action, should I say, I'll take a second and go through our sponsors. These sponsors provide services primarily for the LP. Storm Guard Roofing Construction, based in Detroit Metro. We have Lifestyle Exteriors, based in Lansing. We have Katz Roofing and Siding, based in Potterville. Pro Powder in South Haven for powder coating needs. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding in the Thumb of Michigan. McKay Tree Specialist across Southeast Michigan. Kuiper Tree Care in West Michigan. We have FBI buildings across most of Lower Michigan. On Top Roofing, our spotlight sponsor of the day, based in Livingston County. For any roofing needs in Livingston County or around the area, get a hold of On Top at 810-588-3933. We have Schneider Commercial Building Solutions for roofing and commercial building solution needs. Shield Public Adjusters for assurance claim help or adjusting needs. Top Gun Roofing Exteriors based across West Michigan. A-Class Construction and Restoration in Mason County, which is up there in western Lower Michigan. We have Rainbow Restoration there in the Kent County and surrounding areas. We have Guardian Technologies based in Burton for audio, video, and security needs. And I thought I had this loaded in, but I do not at this time. It is Ronald McDonald House of Detroit. Would appreciate all these sponsors for helping us out here at MSC and also providing services to you guys in the event you have damage or need their services, from audio and video security needs to tree services and exterior needs on your homes to pro powder coating. We have it all covered here. So with that said, appreciate your sponsors. And now back to the action. And what action, very little action there is. Yeah, this storm, I believe, is struggling with getting an updraft built. It hit 30,000 feet and struggling past that. They went ahead and they continued the warning for damaging winds up to 60, miles per hour. No hail, less than penny-sized hail with this storm. So they went ahead and dropped the hail from ping pong all the way down to nothing. Well, I can't say nothing. It says less than penny size to be exact. But they warned it for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and said less than penny size hail. Did not put hail in the text of this warning. So now the focus really is going to be on the secondary storm back here to the east of Trinary to see what it does. But because it's so close to this other storm, I'm going to believe it has a hard time getting going here, at least initially. Tigers are winning 10-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Go Cubs, go. The Cubs are also winning 4-1. I'm a Cubs fan, if you guys can't tell. I know it's not ideal on a Michigan channel, but I've always been a Cubs fan ever since I was young. I don't do it out of spite. I do it because I've always been a Cubs fan. So I know, Julie, I know. Yeah, this storm back here is struggling to get going. Looking at the updraft here behind the scenes on GR2, it's having a very tough time breaking through about 30,000 feet. I don't hate the Tigers. I'll cheer for them if they're in the playoffs. I don't have the Cubs to cheer for. Like last year, I was cheering for the Tigers in the playoffs, but I just follow the Cubs more closely. I think we're at a point, though, where this storm is not impressing me to the west, and the storm that's warned is literally falling out on itself. Like, it went from a very potent storm to nothing very, very quickly. So this is going to die very soon. That warning is going to get canceled, I have to imagine. It's expiring in 20 minutes, but I would assume that we are going to cancel this warning quicker than that. And if they do that, I'll probably wait like 5 minutes or so. But this storm back here to the west does not impress me. It's struggling to get going. So I think we have a break here where I could probably pop off and eat my food here. And I'll go back live here if necessary. But there's no other storms in the state right now to watch besides these two areas. So as long as this storm doesn't look like it's going to intensify in the short term, I'll probably pop out of here, truthfully. And the storm that's warned does not really contain anything to me that screams severe. There's your wind velocity. There's no pockets of it. It just looks like a dead storm to me. They probably continue it because when these storms collapse in themselves, that can induce like microburst and downburst damage where the winds come down, it spreads outward. That can be happening here below the radar. So it's probably a good move they continued it, but this storm is about to be completely gone. So any winds will be very short-lived in nature and probably below severe criteria very shortly, if not already. Just eat now so you don't make the other one go severe. Nah, Julie, I'm going to wait. If I can wait to enjoy my food and not have to eat on camera or mute myself, I'm going to do that. So I'll wait. My food is still hot. Kent needs a storm. Yep, I agree. West Michigan could use the rain. Also, if we get closer to 9 p.m. and afterwards, I believe it's going to be Joel and I on stream tonight, so you'll have two of us to banter with. It's always fun hanging out with you guys solo, but I think it's always a little bit better of a time when you have two hosts on. Just my opinion, but eat on camera is super entertaining. No, I'm good. I will pass on that. Yeah, this storm just completely died out. It's just rain showers now. But again, like I said, when these storms collapse in themselves, that updraft comes down and it spreads outwards. So that can induce gusty winds. So likely why they continue that warning here. But given that it's almost completely vanished off radar now, probably going to expire this, I'd have to say, anytime. I'm keeping a close eye on this one back here as well. And it's still just struggling to get over 30,000 feet. Now, if you guys see that box that I'm trying to draw on my radar here, this is actually what's popping up for me. I see... That didn't work. That's not it either. Do I not have that option? I guess I can't. I was going to try and show you guys what I'm looking at, but I guess I don't have it on mine. Oh, there it is. This is what I'm looking at. This is the 3D scan of the storm. You can see the cloud tops here. It goes from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60,000 feet. These are your cloud tops. As you can see, this secondary storm behind it, there's your first storm that was up close to 55,000 feet there at one time. That's collapsing. You can see how that collapsed pretty quickly. But the secondary storm here is not really growing. It's just kind of hitting 30,000 feet, and it's just kind of going back down now. So that tells me short term, this storm is going to struggle hard. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. And this storm is now just a bunch of rain showers. So with that said, we're going to pop off once this warning is dropped. I'm hoping they're going to cancel this early. If they don't, though, we'll stay on for 15 more minutes and cover this. But there's really, at this point, no reason for this warning to be in effect, unless they have reason to believe that the cell is still producing gusty winds on the collapsing of itself. But usually that show up on radar, and it's just, there's nothing showing up on radar. Yeah, I will. Yeah, there are sometimes that our bot automation chat moderator will time you out automatically for posting too many capital letters in a sentence. We had that as like a housekeeping rule, so don't feel bad if you did it accidentally. No big deal. We just had that in place to general housekeeping rules, essentially. Yeah, we have human moderators here. We have Julie, we got Dawn, we got Hadley, we got Sarah. We have numerous moderators on Facebook and YouTube, but we also have automation on the YouTube side of things that kind of help out. Just because on bigger days we have like 10,000 people watching us, chat's going like this, like it's scrolling by so fast. So to avoid spam and bots and stuff like that, we put our own criteria in there to help cut down on that, because our moderators are human. They're going to miss some things, especially on busy days. So it's nothing personal. If it does time you out, it's just kind of caught one of the criteria we have in there. That's all. I'm going to say any time on this warning. It's just, there's nothing here to warn at this point. In the meantime, I'm going to look for that sponsor graphic, so don't forget that for later on tonight. There it is. And we are now back into clear air ops. There's no severe warnings or statements in effect. And that means myself, can pop out of here. In the meantime, a quick recap. The UP has a chance of a storm this afternoon into the evening hours, perhaps even overnight hours as well. Models are iffy. We don't know what's going to happen tonight, but some models do show a line progressing from the west to the east right around that midnight or so time frame. Those could be strong or severe in nature. A couple pop-ups are possible along this lake breeze boundary here in Marquette County. As that progresses to the east and a little bit south, more pop-ups are possible. Further downstate, for the 99% of you guys, we should be dry downstate. But if there's a chance of a pop-up storm, it's going to happen along a lake breeze boundary here across West Michigan, close to Lake Michigan, or over here by Lake St. Clair or Lake Erie, where these lake breeze boundaries push inland. Other than that, central part of the state down here by Lansing, Mount Pleasant areas should be dry in nature for the rest of the evening. With that said, I'm going to enjoy my dinner. I'll watch radar. I'll go back live as always. You guys know I'll be here if things go warned. And if we have anything tonight, you'll see Joel and myself on here for coverage, part 2 of severe coverage here in Michigan. With that said, you guys enjoy your afternoon and evening. Stay cool out there.